Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a Carlo Bridge Slap. Welcome to Team Friends YouTube page. Is I Eric the Cyborg of Team Forbidden, coming with you with a brand new update for Ancient Gears. The link finally came out in Dual Overload, which officially comes out today, as of Friday, which is today. Link came out. It's a really good help for the deck. I waited so long for it to come out. So let's get into it, guys, and show you how it is. So for the Ancient Gear lineup, obviously you got to run 3 of Wyvern. It's the Stratos of the deck. It searches the whole archetype, searches everything that has Ancient Gear in its name. The only issue with it is that when you use this effect, you can't set cards for the rest of the turn, which is okay, I guess, but it's like, I mean, you don't really run trap cards in this deck, so that kind of helps out a bit. Running Tree of Hunting Hound. When it's normal summoned, you can inflict you could inflict 600 burn damage to your opponent. That effect could definitely win you in time, because it's just time called. Okay, normal summon, burn, game. Its other effect is that he is a walking polymerization. Yeah, you just do effects, poly, just get it. Make your big beat 6. Only running 2 of Ancient Gear frames. Only 2 because I really wish that he was treated as Ancient Gear Golem. That would definitely be a really big thing for this guy. But what he does is that you can discard a card to add a card, or a Ancient Gear Golem, or a card that lists Ancient Gear Golem in its text. So, I mean, this card only has like 3 targets in the deck, which is why you only run 2. Its second effect is something you're never gonna get off, which is if it's destroyed by card effects, you get to summon up to 3, I think. Yeah, up to 3 of either Ancient Gear Golem or Ultimate Pound from your hand. That's never going to happen, people. It's just never going to happen. And then 1 Ancient Gear box. You add it to your hand. You get a digital search for a monster that is 500 defense. Easy searcher. Double of Reactor Dragon. He is your level 9 to make True King of all calamities in the deck. Basic Ancient Gear effects. When he attacks, your opponent can activate cards of effects. And at the end of the damage step, when he attacks, you get to destroy one spell or trap card on the field. So he just swings, pop a card, swing, pop a card. Swing, pop your own card, get an additional bonus. Now for the main big boy, 1 Ultimate Pound and 1 Golem. I don't need to really say him, because it's Ancient Gear Golem. Don't really need to say much about it. And 1 of him because you run him because he's the name of a Ancient Gear that you can use to fusion summon with. So those are the Ancient Gear monsters. Onto the support. Running 1 of Anchor Drill. You could run 2. Definitely run 2 if you could. Reason why you run him, because he's searchable with box, because he has 500 defense. And then when it's summoned, you summon out 1 level 4 or lower Earth Machine monster from your hand. So it's basically just a additional summon to help bring out Ballista from your extra deck, because he needs 2 Earth Machine monsters to make. So yeah, that's pretty much why you run it. Running double of a Super Express Bullet Train. It's a free summon. if you have a Earth Machine monster on your side of the field. I mean, who doesn't like free summons, right? I'm sorry. One with the Saigon because hell, they're all Earth. It works. He's a level 9 to make calamities. The only thing with this deck is that it never wants to go first. But if you're if you're forced to go first, you would always want a play going first, which is why you want to get your level 9s out just to bring out True King during your opponent's turn, or during your turn to stop your opponent. So having him is just a easier way to get him out faster. And then the only hand traps I'm running are double Nibiru, just to get rid of big board and just give him a token that's small and insignificant. So the monsters onto the spells. I kind of don't really need to explain this much. You had to run 3 Gear Towns. It's like there's no question about it. So for those who don't know what it does, its first effect means nothing at all. Because I mean, who's contributes summon ancient gear monsters in this time of day? Probably me one day. I don't know. But anyway, its second effect is that when it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you summon out 1 ancient gear monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. It unfortunately does not ignore summoning conditions, so you can't summon out ancient gear golem with it. That's the bummer part. This, however, can ignore summoning conditions, which is why you're on 3 of it. Ancient Gear Catapult. So what it does is that you target. So if you have no monsters on your field at all, so obviously your best going second card. If you have no monsters in the field, target 1 card that you control, destroy it, and you summon 1 Ancient Gear monster from your deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So you could just bring out Ancient Gear Golem from your deck, or Ultimate Pound from your deck. And then its graveyard effects is that you can banish it from your graveyard, pop a card on your field, and summon a token. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. We're at 3. No less than that. I'm only running 2 Fortress. You could definitely run 3. I'm only running 2 because it is searchable with the Wyvern. And I mean, you don't really have to have it 90 most of the time to win your games. But it's just a very great layer of protection because when this is out during the turn that a Ancient Gear monster is summoned, it cannot be targeted by card effects, and your opponent cannot respond to your Ancient Gear card's effects being activated. It just says I'm going to beat you already, so just give up. And then when this is destroyed, you summon a level 4 or lower. It's just any Ancient Gear, right? Yeah, you summon 1 Ancient Gear monster from your graveyard. So it's more recursion. Triple Urgent Schedule. Yeah, you have to run this in the deck. I'm sorry, but you. It's a free summon for 2 monsters. It's a free Link 2. I mean, this deck runs a bunch of crazy Link 2s that I'll go into later. But I mean, you just have to run 3 of this card. So just a short thing, all it does, you summon a level 4 or lower Earth Machine monster from your deck, as well as a level 5 or higher Earth Machine monster from your deck to your field. That's basically what it does. 2 Fool's Burial Goods just to send Ancient Gear Catapult to your graveyard for its bash effect to get an extra body on board. 2 Lightning Storm. If you have 3, definitely play 3. If you don't have this card at all, definitely run Twin Twisters. But if you do have this card, definitely run it because back row is your worst enemy. Especially a well-established back row That's the worst thing that you can deal with in this deck. Monsters, not a problem. Back row, problem. 2 Overload Fusion. I might bring this down to 1 copy and then put in a Power Bond or 2, depending on the ban list. So this is your main way of bringing out Chaos Giant, because it is a dark machine. 2 Instant Fusion. This probably might be going to 1 on the next ban list, or who knows, might get banned. Who knows? I don't know. But it's just for 1 monster in my extra deck. That's a free summon. 1 fusion. If you have 2, definitely run 2. 2 is all you really need. I only have 1 right now. I'm currently saving up to buy a second copy. But if you have 2, definitely run 2. It is a perfect fusion spell card, because its second effect is that if you control a Ancient Gear Golem on your field, it becomes a shit all fusion, where you send monsters from your deck to the graveyard to fusion summon with. I mean, you're mainly never going to get that off most of the time, but when it comes up, it'll come up really good. And then Terraforming to bring out your field spell to your hand. That is the main deck. Onto the extra deck. New Link monster. Gotta run the 2. Ancient Gear Ballista. So what this guy does is that if he is summoned, you get to either add a Ancient Gear monster from your deck to your hand, or Gear Town from your deck to your hand, which is great because Terraforming isn't your only way of searching out Gear Town, because this also gets into your hand, and you definitely want to have Gear Town in your hand or on field most of the time, all the time actually. Second effect is that you target 1 card that you control and 1 card that your opponent controls. You would destroy your card, obviously being your Gear Town or anything else that'll just bring out more monsters. And then your opponent's monster that was targeted becomes 0. Just goes out and deals more damage to them. 1 Verte Anaconda. Brand new monster. Yes. This guy is absolutely broken. So what he does is, first effect doesn't matter that much. His first effect is that you target a monster on your opponent's field and make it a dark. That doesn't matter for this deck right now. What does matter for this deck is that its second effect is that you pay 2,000 life points and send one fusion spell card, or you basically just send either a fusion spell or a polymerization spell card from your deck to the graveyard, and he basically becomes that effect. Whatever cost comes with that card never gets paid. And the turn, and that for that effect, you would always want to use it last, because once you use that effect, you are locked out of summoning more monsters that turn. So basically, it's just you bring this out, bring everything else out, use his effect last, bring out your big boss monster, and just go for it. And then Cross Sheep, because why not? It's a fusion deck. Cross Sheep has a broken fusion effect, where a monster, where you summon a fusion monster to where it points to. You summon a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard. Easy. More beat stick power. Onto the big amount of fusions. You're one of possibly many instant fusion targets you could do. I'm running the Cybersaurus because Earth Machine. Because why not? You could also run like Parasicroid, which is another good target for instant fusion. I mean, just as long as it's a Earth Machine monster, you're good. So onto the Ancient Gear fusion monsters. triple of howitzer. What he does is that he is once per turn, burn for 1,000 life points. It's pretty easy. He's unaffected by other card effects, so you can only beat him by battle pretty much. And then when he's destroyed, you summon one Ancient Gear monster from your deck, ignoring summon conditions. Does it ignore summon conditions? Yes, it does. So you have him in defense, burn your opponent for 1,000. They go. They can't touch it. It's unaffected by card effects. They have to they have to kill it by battle, pretty much. It's like it dies. Like, okay, summon out Reactor Dragon from the deck. Summon Ancient Gear Golem from deck. Beat. Only running one of Megaton Golem. He needs 3 Ancient Gear monsters to make. Standard Ancient Gear effects. I think he has it. Yeah, standard effect of Ancient Gears is that when he attacks, your opponent can't do spells or traps until the damage set. Blah blah blah. Reason why you run him is because you also run this guy, because when he's destroyed, he summons this guy out. So you're trading a beat stick for a bigger beat stick. That's crazy. But the thing about him is that he has to be destroyed through card effects in order to bring him out from your extra deck, which kind of sucks because if your opponent could just if your opponent could just kill this by battle, then that just makes that effect pointless. Running him because when he dies, he summons Ancient Gear Golem from your graveyard, ignoring his summon condition. So it's like just it dies, bring this out, dies, brings out Golem. Yeah. The main boy though showed double of Chaos Ancient Gear Giant. This guy is a mad beast. So what he is a 45 beat stick that is unaffected by spells and traps. And during the battle phase, your opponent cannot activate monster effects. So if this card is out and your opponent doesn't have any answer to it at all, they basically lost the game already. Oh, and he also deals piercing damage. Because why not have the additional piercing, right? To the Xyz, running one of Dugaris. Reason running him because he's pretty broken, to be quite honest with you guys. He has different effects depending on which one you do. You would have to detach 2 materials from him, right? Yeah. So you detach 2 to activate either one of the following 3 effects. You escape your next draw phase and draw 2 cards, and then discard a card. Escape your next battle phase to target a monster on your field, and pretty much just double him up. Double him up. All right, make him a 9k beat stick. Third effect is that you escape your next main phase to summon a monster from your hand, a level 4 or lower monster from your hand. But by that time, they're pretty much already going to be losing that game. And the last one is double calamities, because you want to have a going first option. This is the best going first option the deck could possibly have next to just setting on a howitzer, I guess. Anyway, that is my current update for Ancient Gears. Obviously, I'll tune it to get it. Tune it as machines. I'll fix it up here and there. Take out some stuff, yada yada, depending on the ban list and such. Anyways, make sure like, comment, subscribe. Click the bell to be updated on more videos from us, more deck profiles, whatever we do, and yada yada. Be safe out there. Stay inside. Peace out.